Listen, man, this chapter was a doozy. For starters, we got to learn a little bit more about Aisha and her Jinky backstory, which was pretty fucking hilarious. We then get into a bit of a spat between Kuro and Ryo, which brought up some real interesting topics. Gave me the feeling that this will be the arc where we get the Ryo backstory. Not to mention though, the whole thing about what the Tori no man's land is, right? The trash beast, what that thing really is, and what Kuro's original form is. This was full of info that I can't wait to dig into with you guys. But before we do all that, man, y'all know that I'm DomoSenpai, and we are here with chapter 113 of Gachiakuta. If y'all are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, make sure y'all go ahead and do just that, as we are closing in on 10,000 subscribers. I really can't believe how close we are to that, but before we even get there, we gotta conquer 9K first, so let's pick up the pace and really get this shit popping. And now that we got all of the pleasantries out the way, y'all know what time it is, dog. One of the things that made the start of this chapter interesting was getting to know about Aisha more. She was always an interesting character, and her Jinky, at least to me, is kinda broken. As docile as she is, when it comes to actually getting down to business, she's always locked in. Even though her Jinky name is kinda whack, it implies that there's more to it than meets the eye. It's called Type Heal. Anytime I think about Type Heal or anything with type in the name, I always refer to like Type Moon. I'm a Fate junkie, so that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's called Type Heal. And when I first heard it, I was like, that's alright. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, hold on, what other types are there? Because at least in my opinion, it seemingly can also be used in battle. So if that's the case, is there like an attack type version? It's pretty interesting to think about, but obviously, you know, it's all hypothetical. Another thing to note is that she also has a cable on the back of her hat that plugs into the wall, which is used to conduct electricity for the medical treatment. According to Kuro, Aisha having a pure heart and inherent kindness makes this the ideal power for her, because think about it. She willingly uses her own self to conduct the electricity and recharge and heal you completely. And the pure joy that is expressed when the operation is a success is only something that she would be capable of. Aisha's appeal shot up immensely with this chapter in my book, bro. I immediately was like, yeah, she up there now, right? She up there in regards to characters. I like her a lot. This is when we get into the backstory of how she ended up getting her Jinky. We learned that she saw her granny use a defibrillator and got inspired. She then proceeds to shock herself almost to death, which was fucking hilarious. So not only was the electricity a source of trauma, but it ironically became the strongest element in the creation of the Jinky, putting her own life on the line while understanding that one small mistake could end the life of the person on the other side of the treatment. Now, we move on to Ryo and Kuro, and can I just say how big of a fan I am of the post-shock hair design? Just seemed more fitting of her than the usual, you know? The conversation that these two had really shined a light on KURO'S storytelling, because as we all know, Kuro is a very mysterious character, and you couple that with the mystique of Ryo and her backstory that we don't know nothing about, you get an interesting clash that leads to the world of Gachi opening up even more. And by the world of Gachi, I mean, you know, the characters, the lore, and all of the like. Ryo tried diffusing the tension by using her one question on why he never puts his fingers in his gloves, and to be completely honest with you, it's a very valid question. And I mentioned this like 3 or 4 videos ago because it bugged me, and that's the same exact thing that she said in this chapter. So Kuro just directly came out and said, "Don't you want to know anything about your mother?" This seemed to cut Ryo insanely deep, and to the point of bringing up some shit that made me go, what the fuck? She said, if you're that desperate to tell people stuff, forget about me. Tell Rudo what the trash beast that Tori really is. Or maybe tell him your real identity. This shit blew my mind, bro, for several reasons. But let's backtrack to the mom statement from Kuro. One of the things that this sets up for is a backstory reveal for Ryo. And I know for majority of the fan base, this is fucking massive. We've all been waiting on the Ryo backstory since finding out about her previously being an assassin. On top of the comments she made about her parents, to Rudo way back post the jabber ass kicking arc. This is going to be a solid chain of events, and who knows? Her mother may be someone within the South Wars, so that is something I'm anxiously looking forward to, right? I'm anxiously awaiting that. Anyway, let's get into Ryo's comments because this shit was a whole can of worms that I was not ready to have opened yet. First of all, how the fuck does Ryo know all this shit to begin with? One of the things that popped into my head was the panels of Ryo during the assassin reveal. She was always watching, unbeknownst to us as readers, and her awareness of not only who Rudo was leads me to believe that she also has a source of information outside of Kuro. Another thing to note here is that oftentimes assassins in other forms of anime or manga always have an interconnected information network, and that is another rabbit hole in of itself. But back to her retorts to Kuro. We talked about this before way back when we were covering the Tori No Man's Land arc. And it was trying to figure out what exactly that trash beast was, because when we heard humanoid trash beast, at least for me, I immediately went to, oh, he got arms and shit, right? That's what I went to. But what is Ryo implying here? The only thing that really came to mind was that maybe that was also Kuro, because that adds credence to what Ryo says afterward, and the big reveal of the chapter as well. She brought up his real identity, and that was the stinger, because this not only implies that she knows who he really is, but at the same time, it adds even more mystery to Kuro. This motherfucker then transforms into a crow and says, "I've long forgotten my original form. I've played too many roles. Rudo, if anyone can do it, you can remind me of who I really am." Now, I know everybody wants to point back to every single crow and be like, oh shit, it's Kuro. And I understand, bro. I get it. But let's not be too surface level here and really think about what the hell is happening. Why does somebody who has all the information in the world need to be reminded of who he really is? This is a blatant misdirect. Urana deliberately turned him into a crow to make you think of this as being his original form, when I think that is far from the case. And I told this to one of my homies, not sure if it was TL Gami. If you're watching this, make sure you let me know, or Yazura. And this is somewhat of a scathing hot take, but the more I listen to Kuro talk, the more and more he reminds me of Recto. Because think about it like this. Recto played the father role for Rudo. As Kuro, he has to play the info broker role. And if my theory is correct, as Makaka Iko, he has to play the elder role. And I'm pretty sure you guys by now are like, but he doesn't look like And I'd like to cut you off there and bring up the fact that Kuro doesn't look like a fucking bird either, but he shapeshifted into one. Isn't it interesting? I remember talking about this in a previous video about the idea of him being a shapeshifter, just based off his hands continuously going in and out of his gloves, or if he even looks like that. Y'all remember? And I guarantee you, some of y'all are gonna remember in the comment section. Y'all gonna know exactly when I brought this up. This was around the time we first met Kuro. Y'all remember? I always thought it was weird. And to be honest, this is clearly all just speculation on my end, but too many things are pointing to the potential of this being the case. It really makes me wonder what other roles he has played and just who he really is. This may end up being one of the biggest reveals of the entire series, in all honesty. I thought that Tomsy killing Recto was the biggest reveal, but I'm putting my money on this Kuro reveal being even bigger than that. And funny enough, Tomsy might also have something to do with that as well. The more this story fills out, the more it's becoming, in my opinion, a weird interpretation of Pinocchio. Not the romanticized Disney version of Pinocchio. I'm talking about the original version of Pinocchio. I will elaborate more on that in another video. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for this chapter. If there's anything else you guys would like to add on to this, make sure y'all let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like if y'all enjoy, subscribe if you're new. I ain't gonna lie, bro, this chapter left me fucking stumped. It was one of the first times where I was dead ass the Nick Young meme, bro. I was just like, yo, what the fuck happened? What just happened? I couldn't believe this shit, man. Don't worry, I got a whole bunch of other things in the work. I got a lot of videos scripted outside of this one. I'm also going to be reviewing all of your theories and all of that good shit off of the tweet that I made not that long ago. Turn that into a video. I appreciate you guys continuously supporting me the way y'all do. It means the fucking world to me, bro, more than y'all will ever know. I'm gonna get out of here and edit this video because I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure there's some things I forgot from the chapter and I can't wait to read your comments. And with that being said, man, it's your boy DomoSenpai, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Oh, and by the way, this is just a random topic, and I'm tired. That's probably why I'm bringing this up, because it pissed me off. The guy who said that I don't know how to pronounce my own name, cut that shit out.